All right, take two. There's a number of publications online that would be like the scariest kind of alt-right publications. Uh, the White Girl Bleed a Lot, Colin Flaherty hub of information, his YouTube channel. Stuff black people don't like is another. And VDare is one that I've slowly become kind of, it's you really have to kind of emotionally gird yourself. And why? Because I've been so well programmed for so much of my life to be into some form of ethnic politics, or really, after a certain point, if you are like me and you don't have children, you've already buried all your family, that it's not really an issue in any real way. There's only so many people I interact with regularly. It's obviously not really an issue for me. So I sat back and I thought, no, what's really bothering me? That the kind of the white nationalists, you could call them, identitarians and such, that with really the understanding of you have to identify these people separately because they're separate schools of even thinking and politics. The white nationalists think of a place where they should live like Israel. Like that be like Idaho and a bunch of stuff. So there's actually people who are on the farthest left who these people have totally interact in a way, or they used to at various times. They interact with one another. They've got all these various plans, and so this is you could find this on the Freedom Road Socialist Organization, and you'll find like where eventually one of their ideas is how they would racially separate. They would give land to the various peoples, and stuff, to decolonize America. It's very fascinating. Like to finally find it, you're like, well, holy shit! The group that funds Black Lives Matter. This is what they're okay. There we go. All right, they openly declare this. Pardon. For more information on that, you could look at Tactical Rabbit report on Black Lives Matter. They did a fantastic report on the funding umbrella of Black Lives Matter and what same foundations that give you public broadcasting. Carnegie Mellon, Ford Foundation, yeah. So what you're probably seeing with Charlottesville and how all of a sudden every media, everybody's exploding. People are all over Twitter polishing their halos. How could Trump say this, and Dave Duke is doing this, and the white nationalist and supremacists and blah blah. This was probably a blitz. This is a blitz. This is a political blitz I'm thinking is being orchestrated mostly through like the kind of people like Media Matters, that cat. That's what makes sense to me. That's the only when I think of like what would be a network of information you could quickly spread such a blitz and have all these various parts of Democratic and all the interest groups. How could you blitz it all at one time? That's what I'm figuring. So the beautiful thing is all the morons come out, all these Antifa addle-minded crazos and whack jobs and wacko willies come out and they act wacko, and you then see these without there being like white nationalists around without the Aryan resistance in armor waving around war hammers, that the Antifa will fuck up police. And that's what that you see. This is what I always kind of love, is at the stage where it becomes that, where all the imagery of what happened is Antifa and all these protesters fucking up cops, because these cops are not breaking their heads. They're not busting motherfuckers up. They're not just shooting the grenades just straight into them. Neil, stop. We have plenty of these. You'll stop. No, they're not going to do that. No, no, no. They're going to take it on the chin. They're going to cost the city a fortune. This is going to mess up lots of police officers' careers because they thought they were going to enforce the law, and instead they just get beat up by wacko willies, so a bunch of addle-minded vegans and stuff. And white women don't like that. Let's just make this simple. White women don't like violence. All these black people, they're showing out, tearing shit up, having riots all the time, shooting up clubs. All the mass shootings is a black thing entirely. It's so extraordinarily rare. With white people, you desperately have to call only white people shooting a bunch of other anybody's a mass shooting. Anytime there's actually a bunch of people shot by a bunch of people shot. No, it's not a mass shooting unless this is specifically some crazy white person. No, some nutty white guy. No. The idea that this is just a typical black sociopath, that's not important. See, that's not important to the Democrats. You need to understand this, blacktivists. You need to understand this, black academics, because obviously you haven't read the proper book. You're not getting it through your head. Maybe you've got the oppression, too much pressure. They got technology working on you. They don't call it mass shootings. When you're black and you decide you just need to bust caps up in here. No, it's not a mass shooting then. Because black lives don't matter to the left. Not really. They matter on a banner, and behind that banner is a bunch of angry black people who could get into a big fight with all the white nationalists. See, the vegans, don't worry, they got your back. Don't worry, and they'll always have your back. They'll be there. Don't worry. Don't ever worry. Because none of those little white women want to have children. They're always going to like violence. You stupid bastards. Letting D. Ray McKesson play you guys. Some weirdo who you know. Yeah, you know. And he's got you all running around like dogs. This is, once you understand some about government propaganda operations, COINTELPRO alone, something. Yeah, the way that the wars have been sold, how are you not seeing this? People on the left, black activists, black academics, black people will never get over 17% of the population at this rate. HIV infection, incarceration, and culling. It's not, the oppression. Oh, the white man make me, I gotta bust a cap up in here. No. It's culling. This is something that bison do to one another. Deer. Humans aren't supposed to do that to one another. Somehow within one generation, Harlem went from pictures of 50 jazz artists in suits. They all met, and then the kids were there. Harlem was so safe you didn't have to lock your doors from the 20s through the 50s. People slept on the fire escapes on hot nights. By 75, it's a very different story. The Bronx lighting on fire during that one World Series. And you could see the Bronx on fire. In one generation, everything changed. People who supposedly have made one of the greatest forms of music the whole world was copying. Mulatu Atsaske and Afrobeat, the Ethiopiques, the what's his face in the sun? I can't believe coughing for a head of state from South Africa, Fela Kuti, and his son carrying on the tradition. And now, I mean, the best Afrobeat groups now are, I mean, there's not a black face in them. I mean, Binky Griptite's doing a lot of that production. There's a lot of, there's a lot of people helping and stuff, but the group are mostly like Latin guys, white guys, guys from like Europe and shit. No, it's just like that in one generation. In one generation, the whole idea of there being something like the JBs is gone. It's totally gone. There'll never be anything like that again. And in 10, 15 years, I mean, it's seeing these people on Twitter talking all this stupid shit. Oh, you fragile white people, we're going to overpower you, we're going to outbreed you, blah, 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 and all this crazy stuff. And it's just like, no, what are you on? And this is the part that I still remember this, because this was the whole thing with me once being the VP of the BSU. I wanted to save. I like Judge Dredd, Prince Buster, Judge Dredd. I want to save the black nation. I came to save the black nation. I'm going to take all you rude boys. Don't cry. Rude boys don't cry. And I'm going to lash you and whip you 400 years. and I get it. I get this sort of feeling that's come from my upbringing in the left. Save them. Gotta save. And it's like, no. People who live in Oklahoma have to save themselves. People who live in Missouri have to save themselves. People who live in Illinois got to save themselves. They have to do what it takes to reorganize what's left of the functional part of the community, if it exists. And if the community doesn't exist, then it will vanish. These will become these people who just kind of exist piecemeal throughout the United States, floating always around 10 to maybe at best about 15% of the population. So far, because of the completely unaddressed spread of STDs among Black Americans, there's just no way around this one. I'm just like, no. This is entirely within only probably about 40 years. The idea that I just can't see beyond 15% of the population. I can't see it. I simply just can't see it. And now that white people have kind of caught on to things, that they're not asleep anymore. They're getting their information. Their information is accurate. It's news reports. It's TV reports. It's all this stuff that's not making it anywhere beyond one showing on the news at 7. It's not making to the 11 o'clock news. Why isn't it making to the 11 o'clock news? Because nobody wants to address that the local mall is shut down regularly by the kids in the Black community. They don't want to discuss that you might be just walking around downtown and like 100 Black kids decide they want to destroy everything and punch all the white people. And this is just, these are happening all over the place. And these kids, at some point, they have to start somewhere. They got to practice all this shit somewhere. So they're practicing on people in their own neighborhoods. They're practicing on other kids. Then you go and look at the stories about the schools. And I mean, it's even worse. These are like jails. Jail probably is far less violent because of actually how you physically control people from chamber to chamber and section to section as they move. It's probably less violent than what now is normal in schools, especially throughout like the eastern portion of the Midwest. St. Louis, Chicago, Indiana, uh, Atlanta. I mean, it just all over Georgia. Uh, and people want to say this and that about the South, and it's like, no, the South is they totally are sitting back, feeling so damn guilty, and it's just like, no, you guys are suckers. You guys are just you're gonna just watch, and all these blacktivists and militant, black-tarded motherfuckers. It's like, no, you are going to sit back and you're going to get angrier and angrier, and nothing's going to happen because people are going to die of AIDS. People are going to just keep shooting each other. And there's a lot of these women that, because they've gotten the crazy idea that they can't marry downward, they're going to try to have children way too late in life, and that's that. It either repeats the cycle of single motherhood, or they don't get anything, because everybody knows from looking at men's sites about data from dating sites, like black women in their upper 20s and into their 30s. I mean, they just simply, nobody hits them up except for some just some guy who looks like like a Mob Deep wannabe. That's how it is, and there's going to have to be, well, it'll be what it'll be. That's the thing. There is no such thing as this mass black community. People are who they are in their states, because the states are the size of average nations. Economically, almost every single state in the union is more economically complicated than most other countries that are, say, the second world. Everything will filter out the way it'll filter out. But I mean, this idea that it's like, oh, the blacks they're going to be more, thousands, millions of black people because we just produce like rabbits. I don't know what, we're like ants, I don't know why they would even present such a concept. But no, I do. It's because of the constant crazy idea that comes out of liberation theology and liberation occultism, such as Noble Drew Ali, and what followed from there, Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam eventually evolves in a way that it kind of undoes this problem, that they focus inward, become extremely strong, do not let the outsiders know what we are up to, have very few public voices who are well disciplined and well controlled and watched over. That's what it appears when I look at what they put out, which is kind of rare. Every other group, they're still bugged out on some Garveyite, we'll create a giant black empire diaspora because we're all from Africa and we'll breed like rabbits and be like ants and we'll be everywhere, and then we'll show the white man what for or something. Who knows? Who fucking knows? Where, of course, with white Americans, they're from disparate parts of Europe. They arrived here at disparate times. They seem to understand this and not see themselves as one large, massive group that must do something together. Hence, why there's this minority of people who are shocking to most white people as white identitarians. But even the most liberal, college-educated, educated in English and environmental studies. I mean, she wants her cute little, she knows she wants her cute little white baby. She wants Chad. She just wants him. She doesn't know why. She just wants him. Chad likes camping. And that's stuff black people don't like. It's a website. You should go and read it, because then you'll know how many black people are killing how many black people. Because it's just heartbreaking. It is a war. It's actually the at the rate that it is happening, it would be as if there are two forces at war within the United States. This simply is not occurring in almost any part of white America, where most of the people are white. They just are not annihilating each other in gunfire. They are not just beating the crap out of each other, assaulting each other, burning each other's houses down, finding each other on Twitter, harassing each other, and then taping on World Star, beating the crap out of each other in 7-Eleven. This is simply not happening at the same rate. In one generation, this has occurred. And the complete dishonesty within Black America, the complete and total and utter dishonesty, there's no going back. It took tremendous efforts to create, was it the Dunham School? Dunham Academy? Oberlin? Those kind of efforts that happened from New Englanders who desperately wanted to create people like Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson was skull and bones by the end of it. Sung the national anthem of the Soviet Union, I believe, in Moscow, if I remember right. And then made a speech in flawless Russian, something like that, to the delight. I mean, to the utter delight of the communist Russians. I believe it was Robeson. Yeah. So, in one generation, this is all turned around. There is no Sammy Davis Jr. There is no James Brown. There are no JBs. Because the JBs went on to do so much in music. So much. There is no unit being created right now that can compare like that. There's now and then guys who come out of like Jamaica who are like touring with the Scotalites. There's like one dude who was the lead saxophone. He's unbelievable. He's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I don't know if he's still touring with them, but goddamn, that kid was incredible. But I mean, Afrobeat now it's a white thing. Soul music is mostly a weird thing that is collected by entirely white people. Like, if you want to find like really rare reggae and really rare soul, you're usually getting it mailed to you from Britain or Germany. This in one generation. That's, yeah. And so for all these people who want to make wild and crazy claims about how sort of the ability of black people to take over, it's no. The leadership is predatorial and demented. The religious bodies are people licking their lips and rubbing their hands together. Sweaty fat men in suits with manicures and perms. Ew. God, preachers. My grandfather hated preachers. My mother's father. She said he just would go off. He loved going off on the religious people. Line and verse on them. That's how you got to do it. And then the athletics and the celebrities. There's no going back. It's over. This whole thing is over, and it's all getting rolled up now. And but this is truly one of those heartbreaking things. Somebody's got to black pill this one. Has got to bring it. This is the ultimate, one of the ultimate black pills. There will never be a black community in America greater than 17% of the population, unless like an asteroid hits or there's some decimation of the whites or Latinos. It'll just never fucking happen. Sorry. be Judge Dredd, save the black nation, sentence the Rude Boys to 400-year